Welcome to the Laughing Litigator.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new episode of the Laughing Litigator with my buddy Ray Hsu here. I'm your host, Mike Leon. Ray has been helping California employees and employers navigate the labor code for over a decade. Somehow he's still laughing about it today. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that's playing out right now everywhere in the headlines. We're going to stage this showdown. Austin, Texas, and the home of brisket and live music and Tesla gigafactories, or should you stay in the state of California, where every employer lies awake at night wondering, am I compliant or am I just one pay stub away from going bankrupt? The truth is somewhere in the middle, but also California's labor code is a maze. Ray's going to explain that maze and help us navigate through it. Ray, good to see you as always. Let's start with the way I framed the question at the beginning of this, which is Austin, it's got freedom, it's got barbecue, okay? Is it really a free state like that, or is there just another state with fewer lawyers watching payroll?
I'll start with my Arizona experience because I went to University of Arizona, U of A, for my bachelor's degree. And then during the COVID era, I was in Los Angeles. And then I believe when the country first opened up with the Ubbi Dubbi Music Festival event in Dallas County, Texas. That's why I could make the connection. It's just different, and it's lower cost, everything else. And when during the Ubbi Dubbi that music festival experience, we had to wear mask, remember? And it was still mask mandate, vaccine mandate. When I went down to the bus, prepared by the Insomniac people, the company that arranging the music event, a white guy sitting next to me. And then I was in the mask, and then he sit down, and then he suddenly tear out the mask. Because he's so tired of wearing the mask. But I was still wearing it. But hey, I was very appreciative he did that. Do you know why? Because, wow. In my mind, I was like, oh, I really appreciate that he's not thinking he's sitting next to a walking China virus. But set the racist thing aside. I really appreciative that he take the mask aside.
So Ray, let me ask you, you've said in the past that even honest employers, they can't stay fully compliant in the state of California. Why is that? Why is it impossible in the state of California to be 100% compliant?
Because the law is ever changing, just like the Star Trek series on Netflix. It's ever changing, everlasting, never ending. Right? If the law keeps changing, how could you be 100% compliant? That's for one thing.
That's a great point. Riddle me that, Batman. All right, so let's walk through some specific sections of the labor code. Specifically, let's talk about section 226. This is something with respect to wage statement rule. What does it mean? What's exactly on those pay stubs? Explain this for the audience here.
So as I explained, I promise I will try not to lecture my audience, so you can just Google it or just have your whatever AI you're using it to ask you labor code section 226 or 226. The section requires at least nine elements to have on your paycheck stub or tax deduction statement. It has many names. If you miss any of it, then there's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem. And I'm sure there'll be penalties, right? Which they could be small at first. They add up. Can you break down these fines with respect to those penalties?
So I don't want to bore my audience, because you definitely can read this and Google this yourself, or you already litigate this, you already know this on top of your head. And so it's very simple. Basically, if you miss any of the 9 elements, then there's a maximum penalty of $4,000 per employee against the employer. That means if you have 20 employees have the same pay stub problem, that's an $80,000 problem. And you have 40 employees, then congratulations, it's a $160,000 problem for you just to start.
Wow. That's a big problem for you. You know, I've heard you make this comparison, Ray, about payroll mistakes are like Costco mistakes. Everyone gets, I'm reading, this is something that you wrote. Everyone gets one, but you still pay at checkout. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's actually what ChatGPT wrote. So I think he plagiarized with somebody else. He plagiarized somebody else and give it to me. So I want to make sure that I'm not plagiarizing somebody else a stand-up comedy joke, something like that. So basically, to answer the question regarding the everyone gets one, but you still pay at checkout. What do you mean by that? Basically, this kind of labor code section technical mistake, even if it's your CPA who forgot to update his or her software, or your lawyer who overlook on that silly pay stub thing that nobody really want to take a look at it. Well, you know what? Who pays the penalty? You, employers, small business employers.
So, Ray, let me ask you then, can you give us an example of what a mistake that's made by the accountant versus a mistake that's made by the lawyer, how both of those could still leave the employer on the hook?
Without waiving attorney-client privilege. Oh, okay. Well, let's just relax. For example, we have a situation that the CPA simply forgot to put the employer address on the pay stub, and then during the middle litigation, I was the only person who found out while I was supervising my associate attorney, and then we are like, shit. And when we look into how many employees this employer have, 80, 44,000 times 80. Um, uh, uh, well, can the well that, and then we called the CPA. I say, CPA, do you have something to say that somehow your pay stub doesn't have the employer's address? And do you know what that CPA said to me? CPA said, "Oh, we've been doing this for over 30 years. We use that all the time." This is the CPA mistake. Let's talk about lawyer's mistake. The lawyer's mistake would be something like, uh, uh, oh, this is the pay stub. Give it to you. And then the next day or the next week or the next month, your opposing lawyer, the opposing counsel sending back saying, "Oh, excuse me, we had this slam dunk penalty."
I talked at the beginning of this episode about the difference between Texas and California. So let's go to Texas for a second because the temptations of moving your business there's no state income tax, lighter regulations, there's no labor code. Is there any downside to moving to the state of Texas then?
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing about the business environment. If the lawmaker doesn't care about how to help these small business owners, then more and more small business owner will move to Texas, just like the Elon Musk. You know, when Elon Musk said, "I want to move my Tesla to uh, California to Austin," my first reaction is, "Take me, take me. What about me?"
Well, you just mentioned Elon Musk. So as we conclude the episode here, let's talk about him moving to Texas because he famously said that he would rather move to Texas and get sued once by the feds than 100 times by California plaintiffs' lawyers. Explain what he meant by that and what do you make of it, Ray?
This is basically our daily life. First, I want to be clear about this. I'm not complaining about anything. I like California. I love California. I love everything California did to make me rich. Okay. Especially this overregulation thing. This overregulation. Did you see that? Overregulation thing. Okay. But at the end of the day, we must think that if we were to coexist in harmony, we probably also need to care for these small business owners a little bit, not just keep inventing ways to try to make them pay penalties. And as for the question to whether or not all the business should move from California to Texas, I still think California has its own problem, and the problem actually make us want to stay there. But I really hope the California lawmaker will one day realize if you stop making problems, maybe more people will be able to coexist in harmony in California.
Harmony in California. Ray, thank you so much for the time and insights. We always appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody for listening to another installment of The Laughing Litigator with Ray Hsu. Okay, so what's your plan out there for those of you listening? You going to pack your bags for Austin, or are you going to double down on the state of California? You let us know. But if you want to connect with Ray, do me a favor, visit rayhsulaw.com. Leave us a review, subscribe to this episode, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. As always, I'm Mike Leon. We'll see everybody next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.